there's a screw there. Not supposed to be a screw. That's supposed to be a pivot. This has the original pivot. It's not a screw. This lip, you pull this muzzle back, then you put in the pivot, then you slide it forward, and this edge keeps that pivot in place. No threads on that side. So should I take this off and put it on here? Now then you wind up with a gun that's got even more stuff wrong with it. Let's see if this functions. See how that's got a drag on it? That's got the screw in there. The spring, excuse me, the spring. It shoots. This one is of the, this is a 150. 150. It is, obviously, you can see it's got Phillips screws, and this Phillips screw here, that's wrong. It is, didn't even bother to make it the right size. 2 Phillips screws, don't forget to check the credit card thing. Pump rod needs to be adjusted. And this, good trigger, good snap on the safety functions. This holds 8. This is known as a repeater. Adjusting screw and correct sight. This repeater, what you do is you pull this back and you put 8 round balls, lead, if you can get them. They designed it for BBs, but again, you're dealing with a brass barrel and steel BBs, not good. That holds 8. So what happens is, by the way, correct screw. So when you cock this, a BB drops down into the chamber, and then we'll see if it fires. See how it's hard to pump? That's because the pump rod is bent, because of this design. It fires. This handle, this grip, has been polished, and it's not necessarily a good idea. It was probably pretty bad. If it's that bad, polish is better than none. And again, we know it's about that. Now, on the difference between these barrels and these bolts, this is a bolt that takes BBs. This takes pellets. Air comes up behind here, shoots it down the barrel. This is a bolt lug. To take this bolt lug out is very, very easy. To put it back in is trying, to say the least. This is the screw end, of course. What this does is, and how these lugs work, this is known as a hammer. That is positioned in here. This spring is behind here and presses against the breech plug. This bolt rides in this groove with this notch towards the back. When I pull this back, what it's doing is it's pulling this hammer back and catches on a sear. That's in here, holds this in position. When I pull the trigger, the sear drops down, the spring pressure slams the hammer forward into the discharge valve, releasing the air, letting it go. Some of these guns you can pump up. This has been fired. Well, let's take one of these that are a little bit easier to work with. The inside of these are all the same. pretty close. You have to order the same part. It may not fit. So now this one has already been cocked. We'll see if this one, it won't fire. Uh-oh, is it broke? No, you cock it, and then it shoots. Why do some of these Benjamins fire without cocking it? That's because this spring on the inside, it goes this way. I don't have a spare part to show you, but this goes against the valve. So now what you have is a valve on this end, and a valve on this end. The air pressure, and then you have this bolt pushing against this valve. When you go to pump it, this valve spring pushing against this overcomes the pressure of this internal valve, the chamber valve, and it just, air goes right through it. If you cock it, it pulls this pressure back, it closes both valves. You'd have to replace this spring, or if you're really good at it, stretch it just a little. Heat it up, not real hot, but heat it up where you wouldn't be able to touch it. Stretch it a little, put it back in. Now it can push both valves shut and you can pump it up. But the gun functions well. You just have to cock it first. But I always thought it's a better idea to be able to cock it empty and not cocked. Not loaded and not cocked. The next series is the 130 group. I have to get them. There's three groups. They are the 130, the 132, the 137. They made a very, very good gun. They got rid of, if you notice, that bad muzzle plug, and this is really good. The 130, 32, and 37 were made from 1942 to 1986. I don't know if I told you, the first 100, 102, 107, and 177 were made from, well, the 100, 102, and 107 were made from 1935 to 1938. The 177 was made in 1935 only, and the 122 was made in 1935 only. I've never seen a 102 or the 107. The 107's pellet, the 102 is 22 caliber. But on this one, you want to make sure that the muzzle plug screw is there. It is. Also, credit card. This is a weak spot in this particular gun, but it's really, really well done. You notice we don't have that problem with the pump with the rod. Trigger, good. Safety, working good. Safety's on, trigger can't be pulled, safety's off, trigger can be pulled. It has a correct sight with the adjusting screw. Good, also good. And you can see this is a 130. This is correct. Now, will it fire? Cocked, and it also has the correct, because this is supposed to be BB. You can see that is the BB. I don't know if you can see in there very well. Maybe. Yes. Okay. Closed. A couple of pumps. And when you're pumping this up, don't put your hand against this barrel. Hold it back like this, and obviously, I don't need to tell anybody this that's watching this. Watch where the barrel's pointing, in case something was lodged in there. A couple of pumps, fires very well. Yes, I know this fires very well because I replaced everything in the inside. Excellent gun. Grips are nice. Very nice. Next, this is the 132. The 2, it means it's 22 caliber. The 132 again was made in 1942 to 1986. Correct pin. The plug screw is there. It's hard to find that plug screw. It's an unusual one. And is it really, because somebody could have changed this and just put 122 on it here. And look at that. Isn't that interesting? Well, what do you know? That's just exactly what they did. This is really, you have to watch for this. This is why you want to write some of these things down. 132, the 2 indicates it's a 22 caliber. This is 22 caliber. Let me see if I can find something here. Well, yeah, this will work. This is 22 caliber. See? 22 caliber. And this one is not. This is a .177 caliber BB. The 22 calibers are worth more than the 177s. Somebody has taken this and put the wrong breech plug in here and selling this gun as a 22, and it's not. But this is correct. This has been replaced, but this is nice. This is a replacement, which is very nice. Trigger string's good. Well, this is interesting. Maybe you can notice it doesn't have a rear sight. Rear sight, not there. Screw missing. By the way, these screws, you can get them. They're $4.50 a piece, plus shipping, plus tax, plus $3 insurance if you want the insurance. So, and does it even work? Huh, that's amazing. It has the bolt spring. The bolt is pellet. This is BB. This is actually a 130. Let's see. Why, here's a 130. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? The same sight configuration would tell you it's a 130 or a 137. Look at that. It's cocked. And it doesn't even shoot. Parts gun. Here's a 137. An excellent, excellent gun. It's like the workhorse. This is a 137. You can see the sight. So that one could be, what says 132 and it's not, could be a 130 or a 137. Muzzle screw is there. Don't forget the credit card. Oh, look at here. This is on its last legs. Can you get this whole group? Yes. You can buy the whole assembly. It's not cheap. Trigger's good. Spring is good. Good safety. Always check to make sure the safety works. If the safety doesn't work, there's no ball bearing. The screw can be there, no ball bearing, but it's going to slop back and forth. You'll know right away. Correct screw. Correct screw. This is good. This is good. Let's see if it'll even fire. So there's quite a few things wrong with this. It fires good, though. This is worth replacing. Now this is another 137. It's got the muzzle plug screw, and you can see how nice this muzzle plug is. It's been replaced, which is fine. And it's .177 caliber BB. It's got the adjusting screw and the sight. This has been replaced. It's brand new. And it shows you that this is what it looks like when you get a new one. And you remember, you always want to make sure that this adjusts, that you can put this in here. There's an adjustment right here if it doesn't. It's in and out and in and out, but to take this apart, it's very, very simple. Just notice here how that's sticking out. The screw, this wasn't set. You can loosen that screw, and these should be equal. They should be flush. It's not. So they didn't bother to fix that. 137. Cocked. Let's see if it shoots. Oh, quite well. This is worth fixing. Yes, definitely worth fixing. The next series is, this is one of my favorite guns. This is a 1320. This is good. Correct screw, correct screw. This is the same group as the 130, 32, and 37. Pin is there. But if you notice, there are 22 caliber round balls in this top magazine. I don't know if you can see this. .35 holds 35, and this is known as auto loading. And this has a rifled barrel. It was made from 1958 to 1977. Trigger is correct. Safety is good. I don't want to cock this because it's loaded, but this functions very well. This is good. You always want to check these. This was a